So it seems even Starmer himself has now come to the conclusion that Labour have very little chance of winning the next general election. Reform continue to surge in the polls and they're now only 1% behind Labour. Starmer's government have been a disaster from the start and they know it. They lied to the pensioners, they lied to the waspy women, they even lied to young voters by increasing education costs, removing stamp duty relief for first-time buyers and adding VAT for private school fees. They lied about raising tax for workers by hiding it inside employer national insurance rises. Turns out that is basically the same thing, if not worse, as it has the added consequence of damaging economic growth and available job opportunities, as they are now finding out. They campaigned on change, accusing the Conservatives of corruption, but in just over 6 months they've turned out to be even worse. They've been surrounded by scandals. Starmer's still receiving freebies even now, and you couldn't even make up their latest scandal. That's Tulip Siddiq, Labour's anti-corruption minister. She's had to resign due to the finger being pointed at her for, guess what, possible corruption. Net zero policies are driving up energy costs as predicted by everyone but Ed Miliband and the Labour Party, of course. And the UK's borrowing costs are now higher than they've been for nearly 30 years, while the pound continues to slide, thanks to Rachel Reeves' demented budget. So when the odds are stacked against you and your government has been well and truly found out by the voter base, what to do? Well, some good old-fashioned vote rigging, of course. That seems like Starmer's next plan. He knows he needs to widen his voter base as Labour's hemorrhaging real voters. So he plans to remove the voter ID restrictions and allow, well, anyone to just vote. This will be wide open to abuse and Starmer knows it. Not content with removing the need for ID to vote, he's also planning to reduce the voting age down to 16 years old. So basically children.
Do you want to see 16-year-olds vote? Are Labour planning on lowering the voting age to 16?
Yes, I want to see 16 and 17-year-olds voting. They can go out and work. They can serve in our armed forces. And of course, if they are out and working, they pay tax. And therefore, they should have a say over how the money they're paying in is being used. So yes, I want to see that vote for 16 and 17-year-olds. If you can work, if you can pay tax, if you can serve in your armed forces, then you ought to be able to vote.
Let's not forget, 16-year-olds are not allowed to buy alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco and vaping products. They're not allowed to buy a lottery ticket or any other form of gambling. They cannot drive, get a tattoo, serve on a jury or buy fireworks. They cannot watch 18 plus rated films. They cannot even leave full-time education or training or even work in full-time employment without restrictions. Even the majority of financial services are out of their reach, requiring a minimum age of 18 years old. So, if 16-year-olds cannot be trusted to make decisions on all these other issues, then why does Starmer so desperately want to fight for their right to vote? Well, of course, because he thinks they'll be voting for Labour. A large portion of Labour voters are 18 to 24-year-olds, and Starmer believes he can increase his vote share by giving the vote to children. He knows that all the adults have realised Labour is a complete joke and will never be voting for them again. So this is his desperate attempt to cling on to power. He may well find out he gets a surprise though, as Reform's popularity with younger voters is growing. So with everything going on in the country right now, the economy practically falling apart, why has Starmer decided now is a good time to revisit talk about voter IDs? Well, Tory MP Peter Bedford said it's deeply concerning that with the many challenges facing the country, Labour has chosen to pick this as one of the top issues we face. A robust electoral system needs to command confidence from the public. Any plans to extend the franchise to 5 million foreign nationals will completely undermine this. At this point though, I think all attempts to increase Labour's voter base will be futile, apart from a small group of die-hard voters, illegal immigrants and a handful of children, once they receive their right to vote of course. Who else in their right mind will be convinced to vote for Labour? Well, certainly not this guy anyway.
Hello there, my name's John, I'm calling from your local Labour Party.
Labour can f*** off.
Labour are f this country right up. Off, go on, off. F***ing Labour. All they've done to this country, all they're for is f***ing Muslims and all the shit. That's all they want in this country. This country's f***ed. You f***ing lot. Go on, off. F***ing Labour scum.
I think this gentleman just about sums up the feeling of the nation towards the Labour Party. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.